There's Masters. Great chance here. That does it. Steve McGavin. And for the first time, Colchester United have won a major final.
Still Garcia, finally the company arrives and it's in! It's a freak-out goal from Ricardo Carvalho. Richard Garcia wants the credit and the shock is on at the bridge.
And it's promotion for Colchester United. They've made it into the Championship for the first time in 69 years.
Porter, being held, there is Porter, and that's Walker!
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Barside, the podcast that covers everything Colchester United. I am Aaron J. A big thank you to those who are tuning in on Spotify, Apple and YouTube. You're doing us a huge favour there, but no bigger favour than those who are sharing the podcast on social media, on X, Instagram and Facebook. You are spreading the word to as many U's fans as possible. And it's been a bit of a disappointing week for Colchester United as the U's fell to a 4-2 defeat to Fleetwood Town and the women's side fell to a 5-3 defeat away at Chelmsford. Lots to pack in this week, lots to pack in to this episode. To begin with, I spoke to Si and Dave after that Fleetwood performance to dissect what went wrong and try and get some positives out of it. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to Beyond the Barside. I'm joined as ever by Si and Dave, and we are post Fleetwood. The U's fell to a 4-2 defeat after starting so strongly. The second half just fell apart. I mean, I've heard of wheels coming off during a game, but this was next level. But we started strongly. We went 1-0 up. Kyrie's Lisby. I think it was you, Dave, that said one shot, one goal from Kyrie's.
Classic Lisby.
Classic
Clinical.
Lisby. Clinical. I mean, it was all going so well to begin with, wasn't it?
And the first half, really strong. Showed everything good about how we can play with that personnel and that formation. Really clever first goal. Continued to dictate play, dictate the tempo. Reed and Bishop were running the game, had it absolutely under control. And Bick again up front was really good, really positive. And the second goal was all down to him being strong, robbing a defender, winning the ball and getting a chance. Still not sure how. I agree that to not even be a yellow card for an accident. I'm not even sure, but that's another. But that is not why we lost that game yesterday. And yeah, it was going so well, and there were a lot of really positive performances. And for the first time, I thought we really utilised Lisby's attributes really intelligently by mixing it up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We got them turned a couple of times with decent balls. Which then moved them back a little bit, and that kind of fed into Reed and Bishop being allowed to dictate the game as they did. And we could have scored more, should have scored more as usual. But it was nice to actually, after getting ped back from a bad goal, it was a bad goal to let in. It seems like an individual error. I think it was in Bick, the young player in question. You see Tucker immediately turned to him and pointed out his error, but still there were other opportunities to stop it. But yeah, to go in up at half time was totally deserved. And you thought, well, we can build on this, keep doing what we do well. And then, yeah, like you said, Aaron, the second half, it is inexplicable because, and the most worrying thing was that Fleetwood didn't make any tactical tweaks. The subs they made was because of an injury, I think. The one thing they did do was push their midfielder Davis, who got a couple of goals, but they just pushed him forward just a little bit. But that's always going to happen when a team at home is chasing the game or chasing a win, as they were towards the end. And then we just lost all focus, lost all tenacity, resilience, and some of the senior players really needed to step up, but didn't. I thought, as much as we all like him, he's such a good player, but that second half, Teddy Bishop vanished. I do not recall him influencing the game with or without the ball once. When I was referring to about how we used Lisby, we stopped doing that completely. Just became completely one-dimensional, meaning Reed and Bishop weren't able to get any control in the game. We stopped even being able to get through balls in behind for someone to chase. And we didn't have until about the third or fourth minute of injury time, I think, when Samson passed the ball back to their keeper from the edge of the box. We didn't get anywhere near him. And yeah, it was, and I agree totally what Danny said after the game. And sometimes when you listen to the interviews after the game, and then Danny or one of the players will say something that you were going to say on the pod, you think, oh man, I was going to sound so insightful. But what he said about in the first half, we had absolute control, being able to play how we wanted with those players. And then it got away from us a little bit in the second half and we just collapsed. No one stood up. A couple of players I mentioned before just disappeared. And we, in the end, were well beaten.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've summarised it well. And obviously the first half side, we looked like a really good side. And as Dave and Danny Cowley have alluded to, we had complete control going into the second half. What do you attribute the sort of collapse down to? I mean, it's so night and day, and the team can do it, but they can't do it consistently over a 90-minute period, which is worrying.
I think the problem we have is we can do it on our terms. So when everything is going well for us and we can dictate the ball, etc., we're very good at what we do. Well, say very good. We're not bad at what we do. And that first half, to be fair, admittedly, it was through beer goggles I was watching it, so seemed very much probably some of the best football we've actually played in a long time. Everything clicked. Bishop and Reed very happily would prove me wrong about how they could play together. It was all working. And yet then, not saying we took our foot off the gas, but I think we became a bit complacent, thinking, okay, we've got this now. So we went in, winning the game. Second half, it's like a complete different team came out. And there's no, like Dave said, I think we haven't got any leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that will actually come on, take the game by the scruff of the neck, and tell players what they need to hear. Maybe they're just too nice. Maybe they're too young and experienced. I don't know. And if you look back to Accrington, we're in a very similar position until Macy got injured and Tom Smith came in. And Tom Smith did offer that leadership role that we were missing. But yeah, it's so frustrating. And then obviously you then look back to people talk about our budget. Obviously, Lyle Taylor scored 2 goals for Chelmsford. We shouldn't have let him go, blah, blah, blah. Well, first off, we made him an offer, he didn't take it, so he went. And secondly, he's dropped down 2 divisions. He should be scoring goals there. So we can't have the fact that, Lyle Taylor scored 2 goals, we couldn't score, as Taylor would have changed the game. Because we've got the players that can do it, but yet again, leaving players unmarked in the box, not picking up the second balls. For one of their goal, how can you have 2 players challenging for one of their players the ball? He skips past both of them, puts the ball across the 6-yard box, past 2-3 players, and their player comes in and taps in the far post. And it's getting very rinse and repeat. I keep saying, but we're not clinical enough when we're on top. As soon as we get a little bit of things not quite going our way, there's nobody to actually lead, show from the front. And Tom Flanagan's had his critics throughout the season, but actually, every game he doesn't play, he gets better. It's because we see his leadership.
It's been really noticeable.
Yeah, we see what we're missing, and as soon as we get him back, the best of it, even if it's not for his actual football, but just purely for the leadership he brings, I think we're going to see a difference. But yeah, it's not good enough. I'm sorry, and I hate to be this guy because I love Daddy Nicky, but any other manager in any other club or even our club with this record who isn't Danny or Nicky Cowley would either be sacked by now or had the whole fan base gunning for them. And no, I don't want them to go, obviously, because as we all agree, they're our best asset we've got at the moment. But unless something changes, that more and more people are going to start questioning them. And it's sad to see they put the fan base so close together. Yet now it seems to be drifting again. And a lot of people are speaking on social media about not being connected to the club, not being connected to players because they're watching performances like that week in, week out.
And you say about a fan base beginning to turn on the Cowleys. I think we're starting to see elements of that at the moment. I think more people are coming through with that viewpoint of, like you've said, Si, other managers wouldn't have been afforded the time that Danny and Nicky have been afforded with the current record and the current level of performance. I personally agree. I think they're the strongest assets we've got, and if they do seek pastures new, or we, hand them their best wishes, I don't see Colchester improving at all. But I do think it's important to sort of acknowledge that other argument of some people are slightly frustrated with the way Danny and Nicky are operating at the moment. I think some people would like to see a little bit of a change in principles and a change in system if what currently we're aiming towards isn't working. And I saw an interesting comment, and I've seen it a few times, where Danny and Nicky are really, really good at managing it, at the individual players and developing those individual players. And it was something that Jack Baldwin spoke about in our episode with him. And they speak constantly throughout the game. Constantly they're managing each player, what they're doing, where they're going, how they're operating. I do wonder, it was sort of brought out, that does that sort of close, almost micromanaging of the individual players, does that stifle the creativity in the final third, or just generally across the pitch?
And
Go on, sorry.
no, you go, buddy.
I was going to say that. From what I don't sit in the West Stand for the home games. Aaron, so you're a lot closer to it, but I did notice yesterday up at Fleetwood that you could hear them. Strange atmosphere. Fleetwood, nice, really nice, welcoming club. Very strange atmosphere there, though. So you could really hear Danny and Nicky, and it did seem they were targeting certain players. I say target makes it sound quite, but just though focusing on those players, like the younger players, like Lisby, Powell, when he was on that side as well. So, and I think, just from what I've noticed, I think it is more they'll give Payne, Bishop a bit more freedom from that sort of, like as you described, sort of micromanaging. So I'm not sure that's really the case. I think it really does just come down to leadership. And you're right, it is perfectly valid for people to make that comment that any other management duo, there would be questions being asked. But yeah, and I'm on the same page as you two. I think they are our strongest asset, and there is a context to what is happening at the moment. The fact that while I don't think the budget is as big of an issue as potentially something the hierarchy would make out, I do think the lack of support they've got is a big issue and is now showing in regards to those roles that need to be filled, those support roles around the club. And we're in a similar spot we were last year, really. But this year, there's a bit more frustration because we know what they can do.
Yeah.
Last year, when it blew up, when we went from now to about 2 defeats in 22, none of us were really expecting it. To that extent, we expected to improve, but not as much as it did. And because of the expectation, that's starting to. I do understand the frustration. I do think it's people being emotional. I mean, I drove I drove for 10 hours. I was emotional.
You did have a
after the game.
chopsticks though, which
Did have a
are
chopsticks, which
available in all
absolute-
major service stations throughout the UK. If you're on an away day and you are hungry on the way back, do check in to a chopsticks available at many locations across the UK.
Aaron, we haven't even reached out for their sponsorship yet.
Yeah, but if they can see what we can do,
Yeah, that's nice. That's a little show
do you know
reel
what I mean?
solely for the management hierarchy at Chopsticks.
Yeah, if anyone's got a business that they want to advertise on the podcast to Colchester United fans, we can do it. We'll advertise anything.
Anything.
Just throw that out there.
Within reason, just throw that
For me, brother, I'll advertise anything.
Lockheed Martin for all your warfare needs. Sorry.
But no, to be fair, talk about the micromanaging it. I suppose you could, in a way, have a point to the fact that that's why when it's going our way, it goes really well. Then as soon as it doesn't, the players sort of get a bit like rabbit in headlights and freeze. It's like, oh, what do I do? Do I, if we say, express themselves and look for guidance? So they're used to guessing that's maybe not coming as quickly as they process it.
All of this comes back round to the leaders, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's that independent thought, isn't it? That if they've not got leaders on the pitch to sort of guide them in many ways, and they're so used to playing in a rigid structure and with rigid patterns of play, as you say, a lot of our players are young players making their first steps in the professional game. That lack of leadership on the pitch is evident. I think it's been evident in the Fleetwood game. It's been evident all season.
And Barnett, a lot of them. And I hope, in 4 or 5 weeks' time, when Flanagan's back in the team, Ian Dolo's back in the team, Goodwin's back in the team, things might be different.
Mm-hmm.
And hope, you'd like to think, especially even just the quality of the players, there'll be an uptick. But certainly an uptick in that respect, the mentality. Because yesterday it was incredible to watch. I was flabbergasted.
I'm not sure if incredible is the word I'd choose. But we know where you're coming from.
We'll go to the
Incredible
one-word
good.
review shortly, Dave. Dave, talk me through after the game. Obviously, Danny and Nicky, again, really good at getting the players to come over to the fans, whether that's home and away, and showing their appreciation. What was the atmosphere like as the final whistle blew? Because obviously a lot of fans were really disappointed.
Well, a lot of fans, more than usual, and understandably so, left on as the whistle went, rather than wait. Which I get. I did another staring and not applauding, just to really show them.
Yeah. They sort of turned around. They went, turn around. He's got his arms folded. Let's not go to it.
Yeah. This ain't worth it.
What comes next? Do you put your hands in your pockets aggressively or something?
Maybe put my hands in my pockets. Maybe just turn around like, and just face the back of the stand.
Chew pretend gum,
go
as if you're chewing gum, like sort of a...
Yeah. But it was obviously anyone else who was there, give your drop a message on Twitter or whatever. But I felt like there was less anger than Accrington, because Accrington was just a complete no-show. I think a lot of us were like just shocked. It was like trying to process what we'd just seen because of the contrast in the first half and the second half. So it was almost subdued. People didn't really know what they were feeling. I know I didn't. I was just felt a bit numb.
It's like when you're the victim of a crime, isn't it? You're like, I don't know how to feel right now. I feel vulnerable.
And it wasn't. You could tell Danny's body language. You could tell how down he was, and he was still trying to process it as well. So yeah, it was a strange atmosphere afterwards. Just trying to process it because we'd seen both sides of them.
Yeah, I mean, it really was a Jekyll and Hyde performance, wasn't it? That first half starts strongly. They equalise against the run of play, sort of similar to Bristol Rovers in many ways. Then we win the penalty, we score the penalty. we can see just before the break, and then the wheels completely come off in the second half. But we put it out there again for one word reviews. We got loads back, loads of them not quite appropriate for our clean rating on Apple Podcasts, but I've given a few a go. Adam went with Pony, which I think is the rudest we potentially can go and still keep our rating. Gavin went with Collapse. Jensen went with Heartless. Robin went with Typical, and Rupert went with Unacceptable. I think all of those ring true for me, certainly. I don't know about you guys, but Dave, what one word would you use to describe that performance? You can't say chopsticks.
Chopsticks for all your driving home after getting battered again needs. I'd say shocking, just because of the contrast. Or contrast. Should I use contrast or shocking? I'll use shocking. It's better for content. But yeah, just from first half to second half, we keep saying it. I can't explain it. And yeah, we'll come on to later on in the pod. We'll come on to what this means for the team next week. But there's going to be some. I think there's going to be some statements in the team next week.
Definitely, I like it. Shocking indeed, and hopefully some statements coming ahead in the Chesterfield game. Si, what are you going for?
Well, I personally think I summed up in our group when I sent you my very drunken rant about the game. But going on the second half performance, I'm going to say rudderless.
Rudderless.
Yeah. So we've got no leadership, have we? We've got no guidance. We're not pointing in the same direction. We're just literally going downstream without a paddle.
Yeah. No, I think that's possibly the nicest way that we could have summed up that performance. Certainly feels a bit more upbeat than our Accrington review, but nonetheless, still as disappointed. Dave, lovely to chat to you. Would have been lovely to chat about a bit more of a positive result, but hopefully we can pick things up at Chesterfield and speak a bit more brighter then. I'll catch you soon, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Huge thank you to Si and Dave there, as always, for sharing their opinions and keeping it lighter than I think I would have expected us to keep it after that performance. It really wasn't great, but we've tried to sort of get as many viewpoints as we can out there. Anyway, moving to a bit more of a lighter note, it is time for one of our newer features, and I spoke to Used fan Samir to get his Fantasy Five-a-side team. Hope you enjoy it. Welcome back to Beyond the Barside. It is time for one of our newer features, which is the Fantasy Five-a-side. I'm joined by Used fan Samir. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Aaron. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you, mate. Good. Thank you. So we've got Fantasy Five-a-side of your favourite used players, potentially. They could be the best used players that you've ever thought of. They could be the worst if you want to. They're just unique to you. So it's your five-a-side team, however you want to do it. But what I'll ask first is, how have you lined them up?
I have tried to give it a formation. We're putting a goalkeeper, one defender, and then an all-out attack after that.
I like it.
So
I like it.
What a 1-3 formation is, and the goalkeeper. I thought, well, I'll have a real team. I'm not. If I was being more free, maybe I wouldn't have chosen a goalkeeper. But hey, I feel like you need to give someone a mention. But
I like it. All out attack. I feel like Colchester are lacking that at the moment.
Exactly. That's what we're all dreaming of, isn't it? So right
exactly. We'll start with that goalkeeper. I feel sorry for whoever it is, but who have you gone for as the goalkeeper, mate?
Full disclosure, my history of a Col U fan comes from the mid-90s. Before that, the 70s FA Cup run doesn't mean anything to me. Well, I wasn't there, so it's irrelevant to me. So before that, the promotion out of the conference doesn't mean anything to me. Slightly ahead of my time. So my goalkeeper is Dean Gherkin.
Good choice.
Primarily because of his longevity and his service to the club. I know he left for a period, but he was there in our best of years, and he came back to finish his career. If I'm completely honest, right, Matt Macy is the best goalkeeper we've ever had, but in my time as a fan. But Dean Gerken gets the legend status for his longevity and his service to the club. But although the actual legend that we probably had in my time is Aidan Davison, who made it on the FA Cup reel when he did that air kick against Blackburn. So he's been on national TV for his quality. But yeah, Dean Gerken gets my vote as the goalkeeper, going for the actual for the number one spot. So I think he's earned it. He's been a good servant to the club. So yeah, I think that's where I'd go.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Dean came through as a youth player as well.
One of our own, isn't he? So yeah,
worked his way into the first team. Obviously, left a little bit. Went to Bristol City. Went to other clubs as well that I won't name, but came back and was responsible for probably one of the best cup runs we've had in recent years with his antics in the penalty shootout. So I think Dean Gerken is definitely a cult hero to go in net. Obviously, he's going to have a lot of work to do. He's got one person in front of him. Who is that person?
Well, what a person. When someone says centre-back, this is where my head goes to. I don't think of Ria Byrne. I don't think of Virgil van Dijk or any of that lot. Some of them, right? The person I think of in my mind is Peter Corley.
Okay, nice.
A big, massive bruiser of a centre half. You don't need to be a baller. Head it, thump it away, get your body in there. He did it. He did all of that stuff. He was just powerful and it's just solid. And that, and he was there when I kind of first started watching for a while. And he was just, that's what I think of in centre half. There's no glamour to it, but he is my legend as a centre back, and on his own he'd be fine. You just kick him out. It's all right. Don't worry about it. He doesn't need wing backs or anything like that. It's just a big lump, and that's what you need. There are a few others, but he probably defines it the best for me for that position. And he just no nonsense. Loved it, and it was just quality. You just didn't want to mess with him. Yeah. There's not a lot to say about him. That's it. He was just there. He was just a lump, but it was a. Yeah, that's who I think of. When anyone says centre back, my mind goes there. Big, massive ball guy. Just don't mess with him. So
yeah, I like it. I think it's what people refer to as a proper centre half as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got Gerken, we've got Peter Corley. We're now sort of going all out attack.
That's it. You sorted at the back. There's no trouble. They're not going to leak any goals between them two, so it's fine.
Right, who's next on the list?
So going to attack. I mean, we can't not have this guy. Lua.
Yeah.
He is the most famous product from Colchester United ever. His biggest play we've ever sold. Played in the Champions League. I think that year, this is back in 2000, it was in the top 50 of Premier League values, $2.5 million or whatever it was. That was really big money even then.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't doubt they had Champions League, long career in the Premier League. I loved his Wikipedia opening line about his time at Colchester United. Because this guy's a maverick. Lua joined Colchester United in September 1998. He initially struggled to adapt to prefer going to nightclubs instead. I love that. He was a maverick, and he was fantastic. Every time he got the ball, he's one of those players you just believed something was going to happen. Is exciting that winner against Bristol Rovers in the last minute that he scored, and the hat trick against QPR. I think just not long before he got sold the summer after, but it was just wonderful to watch, and to have a player like that, they're rare, especially at low league clubs that can kind of bring that excitement to fans. And he made somersaults cool. You don't see that anymore. Players don't do that anymore. I don't think.
I think he's the reason they don't. I think he got a few ankle injuries.
Probably right, but yeah, it was. They are fond memories for I think any Colchester fan at that time.
Yeah,
he was 100% such a player. And just really, as I say, really exciting to watch. And it was a good time to be a fan with him around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we put out the first sort of one of this feature on a recent episode of the podcast, and my dad said, well, he noted the omission of Lua, where he basically feels that you need a goalkeeper and then him. And he'll just do all the jobs.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It doesn't matter if you score 4. We're going to score 5, so we've got Lua. It's fine.
So we've got Dean Gerken, we've got Peter Corley, we've got Lamana Lua. Who else have you gone for?
Right, I want to take your mind back to a cold March evening in 1999, the first pay-per-view game, and Man City came to town. And this is my standout memory of as a Colchester fan. And the player I've gone for is Fumaka. Right?
Okay.
He lasted all of 14 minutes before he got knocked out, literally clanged by Man City's version of Peter Corley. I forget his name. But for those 14 minutes, and Lualu was also on the pitch, I'm pretty sure, it was all the dazzling Brazilian skill you want from any Brazilian player. When you think Brazilian, that's what you think of, that tricks and all this sort of stuff. He was darting about all over the place. He was spectacular, taking players on. It was amazing. I used to go with Dave. I still sit next to Dave, and we were just like, wow, this guy is the most incredible thing ever. Best player for Colchester, bar none. His skill was insane. Yeah, 14 minutes. That's all it lasted. And we never saw him again. He went off to Barnsley. His career fell flat there. He went somewhere else. And then basically, by the looks of things, he had a really terrible football career after that. Nothing happened. Nothing really fell for him. Obviously, he wasn't that good. But for Colchester United on that evening, he was incredible. And it was just a infamous start. I don't know. It's the one memory that I think of. Exciting times of Colchester. Yeah, this guy Fumaka is incredible. Yeah. I don't know whether you remember him, but it was a long time ago now.
Yeah,
it was.
He's a bit before. So I think I started watching that season. We got beat by Millwall midweek, so I'd have been about 5.
Right.
So Fumaka doesn't enter my.
It's insane. It's just he's the one player I think of. That's where my head goes to of amazing players, and it's pathetic because it's only 14 minutes. That's all we saw him for. But it was what a 14 minutes. It was he had to be basically killed by a lump of a Man City defender to do anything. But yeah, it was fantastic.
I love players like that. I like it where they've sort of made like brief cameos, but they've made like a lasting impression on you for one reason or another. Like I always remember Joel Thomas. Do you remember Lambert signed him, but we were meant to sign him and Effiong from Hamilton. Effiong went somewhere else. We ended up still signing Joel Thomas, and he sort of just didn't play. Came on it every so often. He'd come on, and he just never. We paid like 125 grand for him.
It's big money for us. Yeah. Wow.
It was, who knows what went on? I don't think Paul Lambert knows what went on, but I would imagine that transfer is a huge reason behind why Cowling keeps the purse strings quite tight at the moment, because he's not making that mistake again.
No, I guess lesson learned. He has put his hands in his pockets at times, hasn't he? But
he has. That period, he properly did. I mean, that Lambert Boothroyd period.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Frank Quadroux for crying out loud.
I know, it's mad, isn't it? But didn't really pan out for us, did it? Anyway, but
no.
Like, well, that's it.
I didn't. Although I
can, guys. Whoever's in the box, whoever's in the manager's seat, do what you can. But
I'd take Joel Thomas now if he could score. Given how we got on against Accrington. Anyway, that's not. Again, I'm going off on a tangent.
Right.
I apologise. So we've got Dean Gherkin, Pete Corley, Lualua, Fumaka, and I mean, who else is rounding this off?
So this guy, I mean, my final attacker to guarantee the goals is Jamie Kiraton. I know he's probably a legend at other clubs, and I was a bit on the fence for that because I was toying with Tony Adcock. But then I work in Peterborough a lot, and we do like conferences at the Posh Stadium, and they got a big picture of him. I'm like, that's insulting. He's a Col U legend. He can't be a Peterborough legend as well. So I know he's a legend at Leyton Orient, and others at Jamie Kiraton, but he was always just looked like he enjoyed his football. Mm-hmm. He was obviously our striker, our best of times. 20-plus goal striker in the Championship when we were the kings of East Anglia. I don't think we've had a 20-plus goal striker a season since then. I don't think. I could be wrong.
Dave and I have spoken about this. I wondered if Lisby, the year we went down, was that, but I think he got 17.
Yeah.
Which was incredible considering how poor we were that season.
that just showed, doesn't it?
But yeah.
What would we get for a 17-goal striker this season anyway?
Yeah, I mean, Kyrese needs to step up, mate.
All of them do, but yeah. But he, so he was our striker and the best of our times. he scored that hat trick against Southend at Roots Hall. I mean, that cements you in legend status. It doesn't matter what else you can do, really. If that was the only game he played, it would be a legend, right? So, that's it. It was just enjoyable to watch, and you always felt you had a real good chance because he was there, and he built good partnership. I think with Lisby, and I don't know, was it Iwalumo that
Iwalumo was the main one, yeah.
But yeah,
I forget who else he would have paired up with that. I mean, it was mainly Iwalumo. I think Jamie Guy was coming in sort of bits and bobs towards that season. We had Scott Vernon as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, mainly him and Big Chris were the sort of main two. It's interesting because our next sort of Beyond the Barside meets is someone from that squad. And I asked why that squad was so successful, what was the sort of reason behind it. And he was quite honest and said that the club allowed players to use them as a stepping stone. So players were coming to Colchester where perhaps it hadn't worked elsewhere, and they were being given an opportunity to put themselves in the shop window, make themselves sort of, revive their career if that's something that they needed to do. And it was a group of lads that took it. And it was a group of lads that took that opportunity. And we look at some of the players we've got that feel like they should be championship players, but they're not doing it at League Two. These players thought that they were championship. Some of them ended up being Premier League players. They did it at League One. They did it in the Championship, and they reaped the rewards from it. So, I think Jamie Curtin's a prime example of that because it hadn't worked out at Swindon. QPR weren't too keen on him either after having such a promising start at Bristol Rovers and Norwich.
He
then kick-starts his career again and goes back to Norwich, and it's one of them things that...
I mean, and I think he's, even though he only played like 2 seasons or a season and a half, it's like only 50 odd games. I think he was goals per games as our highest strike that we've ever had. So the stats are there in his favour, and it was just at the best time as well. So he's my final striker. I had a few like honourable mentions that were like on the list, either because they're just loyal to the club and you can't deny them. Like 2 of them obviously one's do good. He's just Colchester through and through. And the other one, I'm going to say it because he's been the one constant in all my time as a Col U fan, and that's David Gregory. He's still there. He's still working. I mean, he's a bit of a nice commentator. He needs to be a bit more hard questions sometimes, but he was there when I started. He was there playing when I started watching them, and he's still there now doing something. So you got to give him a bit of a legend for that. And then the classy players, Greg Halford could have got in for a bit of more control in the midfield, and for what he did. And that's kind of topical because he just announced his retirement. Didn't know he was still playing. That was news to me.
Yeah, it was at hashtag. I went and watched because they're in the Ryman League.
Yeah.
North, South, Premier, whatever they do it regionally. And he's turning out for them, which is still a half decent level. But he ended up playing in goal, so he's rounded up. He has rounded off all 11 positions. He's played in every single one. He did it with hashtag in his final year. And now he's doing a charity boxing event against Marvin Elliott. So I bet he's got a hell of a reach on him.
And Jamie's still playing as well. So, the striker option could still be going on. He was in the news a little while ago. He's 50 years old.
Yeah, player manager at Cambridge City, who have one of the nicest. Like they've got a brand new ground, haven't they? Cambridge City. It's like state of the art, and it's same league as what hashtag we're in. So
So that's my my fantasy five-a-side for different reasons, and might be a few oddballs there, but I think that's what stands out to me.
I think you've smashed it with that. I think you've got some of the key players in that have done something within the club, but you've also put your own personal spin on it as well with Fumaka and Pete Corley. So I think you've smashed it. I think that's a really good five-a-side. I'll be honest, I want someone to come on and just go fully rogue. No Curitons, no Lualuas.
Yeah, fair dues. It's hard. You have to really really know all your stuff about.
I want to see
players.
I want to see Gillian and Dombu and Songu, mate. That's who I want someone to bring in and yeah.
Mark Sale almost made it because he was so tall as a striker. That's what you miss. You don't get many strikers like that. But yeah. Where was he? Is he at Oxford now, wasn't he? We saw him at Oxford. I think he's a coach there, I think.
Is he?
Mark Sale, he's a coach
in front
at
of the floodlights.
Yeah, exactly.
Just having a talk.
I didn't say that. You said that. That's cruel, man.
He's a tall man. Very tall man.
He is a tall man.
Very tall man.
That.
Samir, this has been great, mate. I think you've absolutely knocked it out of the park. Players that I would potentially still put in the team now at their specific moment of their career. Although, interestingly, Peter Corley, we watched his son play for Malden against us in pre-season.
That's right, yeah.
Jack, who dealt with Jaden Williams quite well. I thought he was better than Eastman. So if
well,
Jack fancies it,
soon then we can start all his name once more.
There we go.
I'll be the loudest on that one.
Thank you very much for coming on, mate. It's been great chatting to you. And we need to, obviously you still sit with Dave and you've always sat with Dave. Need to get you in again so you're next to Dave on the panel as well. That'd be really good.
I'll be a bit of tension, I'm sure, but no, I'll gladly do that. Yeah, the pod's great. Hold up for setting it up.
Oh, thank you, mate. If you and Dave have had a row that afternoon, brilliant. Even better. We'll get you on even more. Cheers, mate. It's lovely to chat to you.
Thanks very much. See you later.
Cheers. Thank you to Samir there for sharing his fantasy five-a-side team. A few rogue ones in there, which I really, really enjoyed. And it's time to bring back Si and Dave as we look ahead towards the Chesterfield game and see where the U's can pick something up, if at all. Hope you enjoy it. Welcome back to Beyond the Barside. I'm joined as ever by Si and Dave, and the U's are looking ahead to Chesterfield as they roll over to the JobServe Community Stadium. The U's reeling from a poor performance and loss against Fleetwood, and we've got a fairly decent side in Chesterfield coming to town. A few of us picked them to be right up there this season, and they seem to be proving us right. 6th in the league. They beat Newport 4-1 at home at the weekend. Again, similar to Bristol Rovers, I don't feel optimistic, but it could be the sort of game that the U's end up getting something from. Si, I'll start with you. How are you feeling?
You just don't know nowadays, do you? You could previously be like, yeah, this is the sort of game we are going to do well in. They're decent side, football inside. They've got some good players under a good manager who are going to be thereabouts this season. So this is the sort of game we probably would be less worried about than, say, the Accrington type game.
Mm-hmm.
But the way things go, I just don't know. Is Danny going to make statements about who he plays, who he drops, but then he hasn't got a big enough squad to be able to do too much of that, because after Accrington, he made some big decisions dropping players.
Mm-hmm.
But then is he then going to put the players he dropped after one bad performance back in to make a team who did also a bad performance suffer it? Yeah, I think we could be going around in circles. So it's going to be interesting. We need someone to come out and be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
If we can get someone that's vocal in that leadership role, we will see a different side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And we spoke about the lack of leadership and the lack of experience within the U's playing squad earlier on in the podcast. Chesterfield have some really experienced heads in their side. They've got Will Grigg, they've got Ronan Darcy, they've got Janoy Danasi, and amongst loads more within the squad. Dave, do you feel a little bit concerned in that regard?
Yeah, it's a tough game. It's, whether we're playing well or badly, it's one of the toughest games we're going to have this season.
Mm-hmm.
Both games against Chesterfield. I think, like we said earlier on, I think there will be some statements in the team. I do think there'll be changes in midfield after the way the second half panned out, and it's a shame really, because I was thinking, sorry to jump back to Fleetwood, but I was thinking in the first half when Bishop and Reid, and Payne played well as well, but those two together, I was thinking, they just needed some time to play together, to click, to learn. and then obviously that went to pot in the second half, and the manner of it means there will be changes. I'm fairly confident of that. Whether that means, I don't know what the situation is with Gape, whether he's injured or not, but something else to consider. Feels like it would be something of a baptism of fire for his season. But if Ellis is back in full training next week, does that mean he's available? Is there an argument that he comes in the midfield rather than back on the left?
You can always put Tucker in midfield.
No. Ding, 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 ding. We need another bell. No, that needs a...
So
just a
waiting to jump in that one. We're just waiting for that one.
Yeah. But no, I think there's got to be a change, like we said. For a senior player, and I think Bishop will come out. I think for a senior player, the way he just left the game wasn't good enough. And we know what he can do. We all think really highly of him. But yeah, it wasn't good enough. So I think there will be a change in midfield. He might even another one of your mounds. So maybe he throws Harvey in just as a, here you go, here's your chance. Look, everyone, look at this kid and his effort and his attitude. I don't think that will happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if something that dramatic does get done. And I think he'll stick with Mbick up front. I think he can come out with some credit, especially the first half, and he had absolutely nothing to feed off second half. And if they use Lisby properly, like we did in the first half, there's no reason for him not to start again.
No,
midfield is where we really need to pick some. And again, sorry, I'm monopolising this. Kick me off if you want. I think we alluded to it last podcast about I don't think Danny trusts either of the right backs. I think Kane Vincent-Young had a poor game again on Saturday, so maybe Rob Hunt comes back in, and it all depends where Flanagan is, because Araujo has moments, doesn't he? He is good. He is a really good player. But that second, the equaliser, he had two opportunities. So he jumped out, and I remember, and it was at the far end to where we were, so couldn't quite see it. And I haven't watched the goals back. I couldn't bring myself to do it. It looked like he'd made the right decision, and he had two opportunities to either win the ball or prevent the attacker from progressing it. And he didn't do it twice, and then we were all over the place. I'll give Kane Vincent-Young the benefit of the doubt on that one because he saw the danger and came across and left. So that happens. But yeah, if Flanagan's fit, I don't think he will be, to be honest, from what Dan's been saying. But I think he comes back in for Araujo. And yeah, he's becoming a bit of a problem, the right back right now, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I do wonder with Flanagan, and Sam Kafour comes in last week to sit on the bench. So I don't know what the situation is with Jack Baldwin, whether he's fit, whether Danny's just not fancying him. I don't know, but part of me wonders that when Ellis is fit and if or when Flanagan is ready to play, if I was to throw a curveball out there, I wouldn't mind seeing a 3-5-2 with Ellis playing that sort of wing-back role on the left-hand side and potentially using Anderson as a right wing-back on the other side.
So I don't think that works purely because we've not got a right-sided wing-back.
I can see Anderson doing it. If that,
I don't think he's got the speed or the fitness.
No, he's definitely got the fitness.
I don't know. I think he'll be left out to dry a little bit by getting stuck in no man's land a little bit. Whereas Ellis has got that little bit more defensive nous about him to actually get back into position. But we haven't got three centre backs who are strong enough to be able to cover the gap on the right, enables Anderson to have a little bit more time to get in position. And I think the reason they played Vincent Young over Hunt is because he hopes that Vince Young is going to be a bit more vocal as an older, more experienced head, whereas Hunt seems to just get on with his job quietly, does his thing.
Yeah,
so
but
maybe didn't trust him to that respect.
I don't think Vincent Young is vocal.
I don't think
I
he's
think
vocal
he's-
at all. I don't think he ever has been. I don't think
no.
he's
Just the
ever
fact
been
he is
that
one of the
sort of
older
player.
players on the team now.
Yeah, that's all he's gone for.
Yeah, that's all it is.
But that's where we're at, sadly. And to be fair, we say about Harvey coming in. To be fair to him, after that second half at Fleetwood, he can't do much worse, can he?
Yeah.
So give him a chance.
Yeah, it's a question of whether you're giving him a chance or whether you're throwing him into a fire that could be quite detrimental to him. Obviously, you've said, Si, that he seems like a young man that's got a more mature head on his shoulders and that he'd rise to the challenge. There's also the very obvious possibility that he could be a part of an underperforming side that fall to another defeat and his confidence gets shot as a result of it.
But how long do we give it till we play him?
And that's
otherwise,
it. That's it.
If we go all season doing badly, then we don't play the poor bloke.
And how do you play him? Do you bring him on? Do you give him sort of 30 minutes towards the end of the game to bed in? Or are we beyond that? Are we beyond a bedding in time for certain players? Do we need to call for sort of more drastic and decisive action? It's a very, very unknown territory that we're in at the moment, even though it feels quite familiar. The next steps are quite difficult to guess, I think, because there are so many things that we could do, but also we're limited in the options that we've got. Just coming away from that slightly, 2 ex-Hughes players in the Chesterfield squad. Can you name who they are?
Dobra.
Yeah.
Do you got Chesterfield?
He is indeed. Yeah.
He's been there a couple of years.
Yes.
2 or 3 years. I'm struggling on the second.
So we've got Armando Dobra, who obviously came on loan to us from Ipswich, who, attacking wise, what a player.
So
Stick him wing back, mate, would you? Did not track
something
back
must
at
have
all.
happened there because he played a couple of games, caught a brilliant goal against Scunthorpe, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe against Exeter, really nice assist for Sears. But yes, then he just sort of vanished from the picture. So something happened there.
Didn't offer the defensive side of things, I don't think. But obviously played under Paul Cook at Ipswich, has gone to Chesterfield with Paul Cook. Kieran Dyer's there too, so it's a bit of a happy reunion for him there. Liam Mandeville is the other one. Do you remember him?
No, it would not.
He came from Newcastle, didn't he? On loan. Is that the one?
Yeah, that way. I wondered whether it was Sunderland or Newcastle. Yeah, that way he came, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe it's Newcastle. I swear it's Newcastle.
He went to Doncaster after us. But Liam Mandeville, Armando Dobra, 2 chances for people to seek their revenge against Colchester United. Do you see either of them scoring?
Yeah, it's both of them scoring.
It's us.
Yeah. Oh, it depends. Depends if we score first or they score first.
Mm-hmm.
You almost, if we score first, then the game is totally ours to control. If they score first, sorry, because we have to play a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And if we score first, then you see what happened yesterday. We struggle to maintain that, and when the game does swing, we struggle in that respect. But no, they're a really good team going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So and like I said, it said Ellis is back full training, particularly said full training this week. So even if you can get 60 minutes out of him, I know it's a hell of a team to play against when you're coming back from 3 months out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we really need him.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't disagree. I think Ellis coming back into the side is a huge factor in our performances, sort of turning from draws to wins and from losses to more stable results. There's Goodwin still to come back, who I don't know. Could we didn't really see a lot of him, but
No.
there is a lot of stock there in him, and we haven't sent him back to his parent club despite his injury, which obviously sort of shows that we have a little bit of a long-term plan for him throughout the season. So there, and obviously Flanagan as well. There are players to come back in. You know, you sort of want them to come back sooner rather than later. Just sort of thinking ahead to the Chesterfield game, sort of the game itself. What are we going for results wise?
I think for the first time on this pod, I'm predicting a defeat. I think we'll lose 2-1.
2-1. Do you think we'll go 1-0 up?
No. I can see us being 2-0 down and nicking one at the end, and trying to getting our hopes up. But yeah, I'm not. I think that they're a very experienced team mixed with exciting young players, and they re-signed. I'm pretty sure he's still there. They re-signed a winger who, when we played them away last year, I thought was probably the best player I saw. I think his name's Berry.
Ben Berry.
But on the wing, they've got him back as well
from Wickham, isn't he?
He's brilliant. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game, and yeah, I can't really see us getting anything from it, I'm afraid.
I mean, it says a lot about their attacking prowess that Paddy Madden has gone out on loan. They can afford to have a player like that leave, and we'd be crying out for someone with that.
Yeah, who
level
did
of
for that first half?
So.
For that first half, Atkinson did give us the runaround.
Yeah, so that's the position they're in. So I don't think you're a bad fan for thinking we'll lose, Dave. So I think your prediction is right.
I think we lose, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I will go over to you, mate.
1-0.
1-0?
Yeah, we'll go behind and sort of somehow manage to bundle the ball in
or come off someone's arse or something and go in. Yeah, I like it. It's okay. So the roles have been reversed a little bit. Si's going for the draw, Dave's going for the loss. I'll go for a 1-1 as well. I think it's the safer bet to put on an accumulator, isn't it, at the moment? Colchester United draw. Yeah, I'd be honest, I don't have a great deal to say about the Chesterfield fixture. I think we've come off a very disappointing performance at Fleetwood. I think we just need to hope and pray, if that's what you're into, that we turn this fortunes around.
It's absolutely the nature of the Fleetwood game is absolutely thrown everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because we talk about the system. If you look at that first half, the system was perfect.
Yeah,
we created chance after chance, and then it's one of those. Is it the system, or is it the way the players work within the system?
It's a combination.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a good point. So maybe there is a case. We don't change the system enough in game in those sort of situations. I mean, we do change it a little bit when we're chasing games to more of a 4-4-2 sometimes, but we still have one of the two dropping back in. Mm-hmm. So it's still very similar. So maybe we'll see something like that. I mean, something like I said, whether it's in formation, whether it's system, whether it's the changes that are made in game, I think we're going to see something pretty bold.
We're going to wear our away kit at home. That's what we're going to do.
We've done that already, haven't we? Last season we did that. The problem we've got as well is our two poorest performances so far have been away.
Mm-hmm.
This has been to a limited audience who are people that follow the club up and down the country. If we put a performance like that second half in at home, it's going to be a lot more vocal and a lot more hostile.
Fleetwood game behind us. Obviously, we wanted a reaction after the Accrington game. We got one. We want a reaction after the Fleetwood game. Hopefully, we get one. Si, Dave, lovely to chat to you as always, and hopefully we can talk next week after a well-celebrated win.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, bud.
And there you have it. That is another episode done and dusted for Beyond the Barside. A huge thank you to Si, Dave and Samir for sharing their thoughts and opinions. I've been Aaron J. And if you've enjoyed the podcast, feel free to leave a review, a comment or a 5-star rating. It really helps get the word out to as many U's fans as possible. And, we mentioned Chopsticks. If Chopsticks are listening and they want to sponsor the podcast, feel free to let us know. Or if you're a company that wants to advertise to U's fans and you feel that we are the people to do that for you, I'm sorry, feel free to email beyondthebarside@gmail.com. Thank you for listening and we'll catch you next week. Up the U's.